Welcome back, fellow Curious Nines. As your animated owl host, I am so excited to welcome you to today's Explainer. We're taking flight into what is arguably the most fascinating frontier in neuroscience right now. We're going to see how artificial intelligence is literally learning to read the human brain. It's mapping out our thoughts, sights, and sounds in ways we honestly thought were impossible just a few years ago. So let's just dive right into it. Think about this for a second. Can a computer simulation actually predict the incredibly complex neurological storms happening inside your head right this very moment? Like, could an AI algorithm watch the exact same movie you're watching or listen to the same podcast and perfectly map out which specific regions of your brain are lighting up? Well, as you're about to see from a groundbreaking new study, the answer is a massive, resounding yes. Here is our flight path for today's explainer. First, the fragmented brain map. Second, enter TRI-BV2. Third, the three senses of AI. Fourth, running digital brain experiments. And finally, a unifying framework. Okay, starting with section 1, the fragmented brain map, a puzzle with missing pieces. For decades, science has essentially relied on a divide and conquer approach. Researchers mapped isolated, hyper-specific functions, things like facial recognition or how we process motion, literally one tiny puzzle piece at a time. And hey, while this gave us some incredible deep insights, it basically left us with a totally fragmented landscape. We really lacked a unified whole brain map that could predict how our brains respond to just normal, everyday, natural experiences. Well, that is until right now. Which brings us to Section 2, Enter Tribe V2, the Master Cartographer. It turns out that this new model, Tribe V2, actually processes the world a lot like an inquisitive owl. It takes in what it sees in videos, what it hears in audio, and what it reads in text to generate this continuous, incredibly high-resolution map of predicted brain activity. And the coolest part? It isn't just staring at a flashing dot in some sterile lab. It is actually predicting brain responses to complex, naturalistic things like movies and audio clips. Now, to achieve this kind of mind-bending capability, the AI couldn't just study a couple of brain scans. Oh no. It was trained on a truly unprecedented data set. We're talking over 1,000 hours of fMRI data across 720 different subjects. Just to put that into perspective, that is a staggering amount of information. That's way more data than a single neuroscientist could possibly process in an entire lifetime of research. All right, let's soar into Section 3, the three senses of AI: vision, audition, and language. So the really crucial point to understand here is that Tribe relies on three massive, pre-trained AI foundation models all working in perfect harmony. Kind of like my own sharp eyes, keen ears, and, my inner owl wisdom. It uses VJPA2 to analyze video frames, Wave2Vecbert to process audio signals, and Llama 3.2 to comprehend textual transcripts. Together, these form the actual senses of this digital brain. By combining these three senses, this trimodal integration, the model achieves something neuroscientists call zero-shot generalization. And what that means in plain English is it can accurately guess how a totally brand new person's brain will react to a movie or a sound it has absolutely never encountered before. It captures whole brain responses and just completely blows past the accuracy of older traditional linear models. It is a real game changer. And we can see exactly how these digital senses map directly onto our physical biology. Just look at how this beautiful RGB mapping breaks down. The red represents areas dominated by text, green is for audio, and blue is for video. But notice all the mixing going on. You can see regions lighting up in vibrant cyan where video and audio processing integrate together, and yellow where text and audio overlap. It is literally a heat map of human multisensory integration right before our eyes. And honestly, it is so fascinating to see from these models just how profound the text or language component really is in humans. The researchers noted something wild. Text, which represents semantic meaning, doesn't just dominate our language cortices. It actually lights up massive parts of our higher reasoning prefrontal lobe. It just goes to show how deeply wired we are for meaning and story. Moving right along to Section 4, running digital brain experiments, or in silico neuroscience. Because the Tribe V2 AI is so remarkably accurate, researchers are now doing something called in silico experiments. If you haven't heard that term, it basically means they have the ability to test how a brain would react to various stimuli entirely within a computer simulation. That means no more needing to recruit a living human subject, schedule them, and stick them into a loud, cramped MRI machine. The computer just knows. And if you don't believe me, the proof is right here in the contrast maps. Just notice how the AI's predicted digital brain maps almost perfectly mirror the true, physically measured human brain scans. It is uncanny. The model naturally knows exactly where brain activity is going to surge when a person sees a human face or hears a specific sentence. In fact, without scanning a single real brain during these specific tests, our digital cartographer perfectly recovered decades of hard-won neuroscience discoveries in an instant. It automatically knew that faces activate the fusiform face area, places activate the parahippocampal place area, and written characters triggered the visual word form area. It literally replicated foundational science purely from its simulated training. No way, right? Which brings us to our final leg, Section 5, a unifying framework and the future of cognitive mapping. We are truly witnessing a paradigm shift here. We are finally moving away from those fragmented, small-scale studies of the past. And because of the log linear scaling of this model, which is just a fancy way of saying its accuracy just keeps growing and growing as we feed it more data, AI is no longer just an analytical tool. It is becoming a general-purpose digital twin of the human mind. This allows scientists to accelerate their hypothesis testing in a computer way before they ever need to run an actual clinical human trial. But wait, here is perhaps the most astounding takeaway of the entire explainer. When comparing responses, this AI is actually better at predicting how a general group of humans will react to a movie or a story than relying on an actual MRI scan of just one real human. Let that sink in. Its simulated group average provides a cleaner, more reliable signal than a noisy, real-world individual human scan. That is absolutely wild. As the researchers explicitly noted in their paper, this marks a fundamental turning point for the field. To quote them directly, the present results strengthen the possibility of a paradigm shift in neuroscience, moving from the fragmented mapping of isolated cognitive tasks toward the use of unified, predictive foundation models. The puzzle pieces are finally actually coming together. So, I'll leave you with this final thought as I prepare to fly back to my digital perch. As our AI digital twins grow even wiser, learning from thousands upon thousands of hours of human experience, what entirely new secrets of human consciousness, memory, and emotion will they reveal to us next? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep your eyes and your minds wide open.